Hello, my name is Dejanay Barrett. I am back with another video. I am in my bachelor's program, and this is for my organizational behavior class. And today I was prompted with a total of 4 questions. And the first question is defend the perspective that the first step in 5-step decision making model is the most important. Before we dive into that, I definitely want to go ahead and describe what those 5-step model of decision making are. So the first one is define the problem. Number 2, identify and weigh the decision making or criteria. Generate alternatives, which is number 3. Number 4, rate the alternatives. 5, choose, implement, and evaluate the decision. All right, so first off, I want to go ahead and say when analyzing anything, or if you want to grow, you have to know what you're dealing with. So I would definitely say defining is important. When a sales rep is making a sell, the first thing they want to know typically is what are your pain points in order for them to sell or solve that issue. So if you want to solve or become innovative, that is like the main way to create that space. And to second that, for the second part where you identify and weigh the decision, if you don't know what's going on, you won't be able to grow from it. You won't be able to analyze it to generate any type of alternative. It is the main step. It is the first step that needs to be taken in order to create that space for you to be innovative, for you to be creative, for you to solve an issue, So I would say define the problem is the main goal first. Define what it is so you can know what to do next or what the next steps are to take. All right, so in what types of work situations would satisficing be appropriate? List at least 3 occupations or industries where satisficing would not be an appropriate strategy for decision making. Okay, in what type of work situations? Okay, if I could describe what kind of work situations would be okay with satisficing? Okay, so satisficing is a decision-making process that aims for adequate rather than perfect. So adequate would be just something that is sufficient or, I would say sufficient, something that's just enough. What kind of industries would fit into that? That's the tough one. Okay, so if I could guess what kind of industries would be okay with just being adequate, I would say maybe teaching in a sense. Teaching for sure, because there's a certain criteria that children or students would have to make. And it's pretty set in stone. It's black and white. So that would be one. Another that I can think of, maybe I would say like being a police. They have a criteria. I mean, yeah, they do. I would say being a police officer, that type of industry where they have to meet a certain criteria, and as long as they're, at that level and don't sink below, then, of course there's always levels to certain things, but I think in my perspective, those are the 2 that I can think of. Was I asked to do more than 2? No. Okay, so for that, I'll leave that where it's at, because those are the first 2 that come to mind. List at least 3 occupations or industries where satisficing would not be an appropriate strategy for decision making. Okay, since I did say police officer, I would say being a judge. I don't trust that occupation could just be satisficing. I think there is more to it. And 3 occupations. What else could I think of? Satisficing, just enough. Also, I will put telecommunications in that realm, because of course you want to be adequate, or yeah, I'll put telecommunications in that realm, because yes, you do want to be sufficient, but sometimes you want to, you know, plateau or reach above that, and sometimes adequate is just not enough. You want to be innovative in that space because things are changing, especially in the technology world. So you don't, that's something that you would have to elevate with. I don't trust that it's black and white. There's levels to everything, so I don't want to say that there's just levels to that. There's levels to everything, but with technology, you have to move with the times, more so than anything, compared to you know, the others that I mentioned previously, that could just be, you know, adequate or just enough, you know. And I listed 2. The third one, I would say that wouldn't be okay with just being adequate. I would say being a lawyer, because it's very complex. There's a lot of complexities to it. There's a lot of decision making that comes along with being a lawyer, a lot of paperwork, a lot of psychological encounters. It's definitely not black and white. It's probably many colors, many variations. So I would list that as my third. And speaking of thirds, for the third question now, we're going to discuss the relationship between creativity and innovation. Is it possible to innovate without creativity? Is it possible to be creative without innovating? Defend your position. Okay, I'll defend my position. And as far as me discussing the relationship between creativity and innovation, I trust that they go hand in hand. I mean, can you have creativity without innovation? Yes, because if it's like on a personal level and you're just being creative within your own space, it doesn't require you to be innovative, you know, in a sense. It doesn't require you, because you can keep that in your space. Is it possible to innovate without creativity? I'm going to say no, because there is a certain level of creativity because you're thinking outside of the box, and you're either solving a problem or creating evolution in a sense. So I think those are highly important, and I do not think you can be innovative without a piece of creativity in you. Those two do go hand in hand, but when it comes to creativity, you definitely, hey girl, speaking of creativity, ooh, thank you for the pizza. Yummy, yummy. Thank you. Can you make me another order? This time take 15 minutes, okay, to make it?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
I need to dip.
Okay. All right. So, creativity without innovation. Yeah, so I was saying with creativity, you can have it and it be in your own space in a sense, but as far as innovation, you need creativity to be innovative. And that's my position on that. And then for question number 4, under what organizational circumstances would you choose a job candidate who exhibited creative potential but lacked practiced creativity experience over a candidate? One moment. We're going to just take this with me. I'm going to shut the door. I'm a mommy of 2. My partner is very supportive. Mommy and my man. All right. So and I'm a full-time, I have a full-time job, and I also am in the bachelor's program, and I'm a part-time student at Palm Beach State College. So, you know, just making it do what it do. All right, so for question number 4, under what organizational circumstances would you choose a job candidate who exhibited creative potential but lacked practiced creative experience over a candidate who had worked in an environment where opportunities to develop practice creativity were extensive but who exhibited less creative potential? Under what organizational circumstances would you choose a candidate with obvious practice creativity skill over someone with creative potential? All right, we're going to go ahead and break that one down. Under what circumstances would you choose a job candidate who exhibited creative potential but lacked practice creativity? So, with breaking that one down, I would say creative potential in short versus lack practices like within the industry, I'm assuming. So someone who hasn't had the work experience over a candidate who had worked in an environment. So yes, that's exactly what that is. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read that one line over. Who had worked in an environment where opportunities to develop practice creativity were extensive but exhibited less creative potential. Under what organizational circumstances would you choose a candidate with obvious practice creativity skills over someone with creative potential? All right, so to be honest, if the room was open for me to choose both in a situation and I was a hiring manager, I would potentially hire them both. But if I had to choose between the two, one that is on more on the creative side but lacks the experience versus the person that has the experience but is, I don't want to say complacent, but someone who doesn't want to go outside of the box because they have been in the industry for so long. Because when someone has been in an industry, they have the industry mindset where they might not want to step outside of that, which is completely okay. But so if I was in the position to choose between the two, I would base it on what is the organizational needs. Are we lacking creativity? Do we need someone who is able to bring that creativity out in the organization or in the company? So it would all depend on where the company stands. Like, do we need someone who is very creative, or do we need someone who's going to play by the book? It all depends on that. It wouldn't just be my decision or my bias. I wouldn't be able to make that decision according to what I was feeling. I would have to assess what so it kind of goes back to define the problem. What are we facing? What issues are we facing? Are we facing an issue with creativity, or are we facing an issue with not playing by the book, and it's causing, riffraff? So essentially, honestly, I would just base it off the organizational needs. That would be the best practice, and that would be the best way to make the decision here. Okay, so that does sum up my thoughts on each question that was prompted today. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched from beginning to the end, again, my name is Dejanay Barrett. If I didn't say it earlier, I'm not sure. I can't remember. 15 minutes or close to 15 minutes just went just like that. But you can go ahead and follow me here on YouTube, or add me on LinkedIn, or follow me on LinkedIn. And I am extremely grateful for this class, and an opportunity to express my thoughts and see, where I stand and, express my critical thinking on this platform. So thank you so much for that. Go ahead and like and subscribe if you want. You can if you want to. All right, now, bye.